Hi, this is the Highland Whisperer here, and I'm going to do a short, soft-spoken video, me previewing the F1 season that is kicking off next weekend. This is going to be the 63rd year of F1, and this season is going to be 20 races. We're hoping that's supposed to be marked down in the calendar anyway. But that may change as I'll explain to you in this video. So the first race of the season, what's that an idea? First race of the season is the Australian Grand Prix, which is going to be held next weekend, the 16th to the 18th of March, held at Albert Park in Melbourne. It's been there since 1996 and has been used frequently for the season opener. It lost that right in 2006, which was given to Bahrain for the season opener, but due to last year's events and Bahrain having to be excluded from last year's race F1 calendar, Australia obtained it again, and this year as well. Last year it was won by Sebastian Vettel, and for those of you who are not familiar with Formula 1, over the course of this video you realise Sebastian Vettel won quite a few races last season. Here we have the Malaysian Grand Prix, which is held a weekend after the Australian Grand Prix. It is the Simpang International Circuit, and I should call it the Malaysian Grand Prix anymore. It's the Malaysia Grand Prix, sorry. It was, when it kicked off in 1999 in the calendar, it was the Malaysian Grand Prix, but for some reason last year they decided to change it to the Malaysia Grand Prix for whatever reason. This race again was won by Vettel last year. Here we have the Chinese Grand Prix, which is going to be held on the 13th to the 15th of April. At the Shanghai International Circuit. It's been on the go since 2004. Lewis Hamilton won this race last year, the first race of his 3 victories, and he won it in a few laps ago when Sebastian Vettel, who had been leading the race up until that point, his tyres had been wearing out, and Lewis Hamilton got past him fairly easily. Here's the Bahrain Grand Prix. This is at the moment down in the calendar, and it's going to be hosted the weekend after the Chinese Grand Prix at the Bahrain International Circuit. This too came into the calendar the same year as the Chinese did, in the 2004. The reason behind, I'm pretty sure many of you are familiar with what's been going on in the Middle East the last couple of years. With the political unrest, and due to that last year, they actually took away the Bahrain Grand Prix from the calendar, and was only reinstated to this year's season's calendar very late on, which has still caused quite a lot of unrest and controversy around F1 critics and in the paddock. But also, Bernie does think it might be a good thing and might help the country. If you've got an opinion on that, feel free to comment. It's a quite a tricky situation. I would question them going to the circuit with everything that's been going on. It may help the country, but I can't see how it will though. But the last race was in 2010, and Fernando Alonso was the winner of that race in the Ferrari. So then, in the 13th of May, we come into the European F1 season, and which is the first Grand Prix, as you see here, is the Circuit di Catalana. Forgive me if I've pronounced that completely wrong. My pronunciation of foreign terms is really bad. It's bad enough, my English is bad enough, never mind my actual foreign language. This is the Spanish Grand Prix. It's in Brazil. This has been on the go since 1991. and this is a track that is used quite a lot for the pre-season testing for teams and drivers, so the teams and drivers actually know the circuit really well, and familiarity of that has always led to critics saying that it leads to lots of boring races due to this, because everyone knows the circuit so well. Sebastian Vettel was the winner of this race last season. 2 weeks after the Spanish Grand Prix, we were at the Circuit de Monaco in Monte Carlo, which is of one of 3 of the Grand Prix on the calendar this year that were on the calendar in 1950 and have remained so ever since, nearly enough. This is obviously famous because of its glamorous lifestyle. It's multi-millionaire, billionaire lifestyle that is led around the circuit. It's also quite a challenging circuit as well, due to the tightness of it and how close the barriers are right on the edge. Any small margin of error is punished quite ferociously here. Vettel won this race last year, as you probably would have guessed. And going out of Europe to North America for this will be the first time this year, first of 2 hopefully, is the Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal. The circuit Gilles Villeneuve, named after the famous F1 driver. This is going to be held on the second weekend in June, the 8th to the 10th of June. This was famous last year for being having the longest race, 4 hours and 4 minutes, due to the rain delays and all that, and which was eventually won by Jenson Button, who actually had to come from last in the field to first. We're in the race in the last few laps from Sebastian Vettel, who made a characteristic error and stood off, but he still finished second, though did Sebastian. Here we have the European Grand Prix, which is held 2 weeks later in the Valencia Street Circuit. This has been the goal since 2008. Many critics to this Grand Prix always maintain that this is quite a dull, with very few passing opportunities. Sebastian Vettel won this race last year. Here we have the Silverstone, the site of the British Grand Prix, the second of the 3 that's been in the calendar since 1950. Last year, Fernando Alonso marked Ferrari's only victory of that season. That's been held on the 8th of July, and on 22nd of July, 2 weeks later, is the German Grand Prix, which this year is getting held at Hockenheimring. I say this year has been held because they have 2 venues to host the German Grand Prix, and they change about every year. The second being the Nürburgring. The reason for them having 2 and they swapping, having dual responsibility is, I think, down to financial problems, but if I'm wrong there, please correct me. I don't like being giving out false information. Last year, Lewis Hamilton won his second race of the season. That was in the Nürburgring. This year is in Hockenheimring. And then a week later, it's the Hungarian Grand Prix, held in the Hungaroring. Don't know if I have problems pronouncing that there. This has been the goal since 1986. Quite an old Grand Prix, but very challenging. Lots and lots of corners. Sorry for coughing there. Jenson Button won this race last year, his second of 3 victories too. The McLaren boys got 3 apiece, and this is the last race they have before they actually go away to for the summer break, and now take